Welcome to Decades of Horror, the classic era.
They die dead. I die live.
This is episode 121, recorded March 13th, 2022.
You call this living?
Gruesome magazine.
I can never tell when you're going to say something.
Is that what
you're going to say?
So you call this living? But anyway.
All right. I'm your host, Jeff Mohr. On this podcast, we cover the good, the bad, and maybe even the ugly horror films released since the beginning of time through 1969. In each episode, we'll discuss the monsters, spirits, psychos, and villains that have haunted movie-going audiences since the dawn of film history. And this one at least gets back to one of the early decades. Decades of Horror, the classic era, is also partnering with Play Now Media, who televises, shows our episodes on the classic sci-fi movie channel, the classic horror movie channel, and the Wicked horror TV channel. So check it out. You can, there is a subscription service, but there's a fair amount of stuff you can watch free with ads, just like some of the other apps. All right. With me this week are my incredible co-hosts. First up is Whitney Collazo, an accomplished artist, makeup artist, and writer. Whitney, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. You're kind of glowing. It's like you have a halo.
It's this window.
No. It's a halo.
Talking about Whitney?
Oh.
Also with us is Chad Hunt, co-host of the other Decades of Horrors and this one. Also a film producer and director with Wreak Havoc Productions, and winner of some awards for his short Chatterbox recently. Comic book artist and writer. Chad, how you doing?
I'm alive, Jeff. I'm alive.
Congratulations on the awards.
Thank you. Well deserved. I mean, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, it is well deserved.
It is well deserved.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I had a lot of help.
It's a funny short. And also with us is Daphne, the awesome, stupendous, and likable as hell.
You almost forgot Daphne.
I did. I almost forgot Daphne. I scrolled past it, and I have a little recall. So, wait, there's another person sitting there. What's her name again?
I'm up here.
Oh yeah.
Hi guys.
It's good to see you.
Howdy ho, Daphne.
Howdy ho.
Howdy ho.
Wow.
That's
All right.
Park.
Since we were talking about poo earlier.
Poop. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's funny.
We were okay. Bye.
Okay.
So first thing we do here is we give a few details about the film, maybe look at some posters, some taglines, then we give first impressions and take off from there. Our topic this episode is Son of Frankenstein, 1939, directed by Roland Lee. Screenplay written by Willis Cooper, suggested by the story written in 1816 by Mary Shelley. The cast includes Basil Rathbone, Bela Lugosi, Boris Karloff, Lionel Atwill, Josephine Hutchinson, and Donnie Dunnigan. Is it just the cute curly-headed little boy? Production company is, as you may well know, Universal Pictures. Filming dates November 9th, 1938 to January 5th, 1939. And then it was released on January 13th, 1939, which seems really, really fast. Like, wow, 8 days after they finished filming. The budget, this is one of those ones I had read all kinds of stuff I saw. Original budget was $250,000, then it got raised to 300,000, then 420. I even saw 500,000, but I'm going with 420,000. Box office 3.1 million.
Wow.
So yeah, that's like not quite 8, over 7 times return. And the synopsis: returning to the ancestral castle long after the death of the monster, the son of Dr. Frankenstein meets a mad shepherd who is hiding the comatose creature. To clear the family name, he revives the creature and tries to rehabilitate him.
It is he who is mad.
Yeah, and here he is in this picture trying to revive the creature.
What's wrong with him? He fell down the stairs again.
Basil Rathbone as Baron Wolf von Frankenstein, Bela Lugosi as Igor, and this other elderly gentleman as Benson, and I would have to look his name up here.
Wolf
Benson.
Frankenstein being the coolest Frankenstein name up to this point.
Yes.
I want to be Wolf Frankenstein.
So I have a question. Anybody that knows anything about languages, it seems really weird to me to call him Herr Baron. That seems like calling him like Mr. Prince or Mr. King or something. Herr Baron. I don't know. Maybe that's just standard in German, but I don't know why. It seemed redundant to me. That's a cool picture. And actually, this one has some extra.
Right here's where the butterflies go.
It was stuck. Some extra contraptions here.
Take out wrenched ankle.
So like lots of
The
these.
sides. I'm sorry, it's been a long day for me. This is how it's going to be the whole time.
Okay, that's cool. Did you notice? I'm off track already. How when they were trying to revive the monster, Igor touched him and got a shock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stop it.
And thus was born the Operation Game from Milton Bradley.
Yeah. So lots of posters. This is the one I saw the most places. Listing off all the actors. And it has that universal look from that era. You know, you've got color gradients and things like that. This is kind of a cool one too.
That's the one I'm most familiar with.
Yeah, I think that's on most of the DVDs and stuff. Yeah.
Look at little Donnie Dunnigan down there.
Yeah.
Causing all that trouble.
Well, hello. Can you say that a bunch?
Yes, he did.
The Phantom Monster Show. The Horror Talks. Well,
Mine says the Monster Talks. Are you looking at one?
The Monster Talks. Okay. Well, I
okay.
See.
More skulls.
Because I have my glasses on.
These skulls were left over for the Donovan's Brain poster.
Yes, that's what I was thinking. They like the vivid colors here. We've got a couple shades of green, and then orange, red, brown, etc. But a nice monster forefront. This a little more artsy interpretation of the monster. Almost expressionistic, one might say.
Yeah. That's nice.
And then we have something that doesn't even come close to taking place.
What?
A tied up woman being
I don't
screaming with her.
And what is she screaming? I'm in the wrong movie.
Yes,
remember.
a real bodice ripper with the monster behind her making pervy eyes at her, kind of.
It looks like he's looking past her into whoever made this poster, hopefully.
And then I mean, I could have put like 30 posters up, but this is the one that really got me. This is like a juvenile delinquent.
This is a damn shame right here is what this is.
It's
I
like
don't understand anything about that.
I don't either.
Frankenstein with a
So
leather
from-
Fonzie jacket on with a chain.
Frankenstein
Fighting
without a
some-
claws.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just
I,
let
of
Fighting
him
course,
some
have
guy
it.
with a
Bruce
gun.
Bruce Campbell.
Monster without a cause.
Yeah.
Details matter.
Monster
We gotta
without a cause.
And what's going up there in the left corner there? Is he supposed to
Yeah.
this where he
I
falls
don't
into the
know.
fire pit at the end?
I don't know. I think
Got
he's
those
surfing. Okay.
Yeah, it looks like a
Things going. And
60s surf movie ripoff.
I like. I
Oh my
don't know.
God, Frankenstein is wearing jeans. It's
Yeah.
crazy. I don't
Yes.
Hey,
Got tight jeans on.
I'm gonna kill you, Fonzie.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay. Well,
Great.
we should get to taglines at this point.
Jeezy, Pete.
I love taglines. Come on.
I don't like these taglines.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
But they're cool. Okay.
a monster and his son. See, a monster and his son. A new juggernaut of destruction loosed upon the world. If they're talking about Donnie Dunnigan here, you know, maybe.
They're getting a mix. They're mixing it up, right? A monster and his son.
Yeah, right.
Anybody tell the Baron?
Maybe not. He certainly doesn't have the Baron's hair.
No. Right.
The black shadows of the past bred this half man, half demon, creating a new and terrible juggernaut of destruction. They sure do like juggernauts.
Yeah,
in
here
Yeah,
we
that
go.
somebody said hate.
Juggernaut.
Let's use that phrase. Yeah.
All right. A new terror loosed upon us, upon a startled world.
That was
I'm
my
gonna
fault.
read. I'm gonna read the typos. Just as they, don't try
That
to
was my
change it
fault.
now.
That
You
was my
can't
fault.
change it now.
Uh-oh.
All right.
That was my fault.
I'm gonna read them just like they are. So it's funnier that way. All new thrills, new chills. Kill, 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 kill. When grim shadows of the past stirred his dread heritage.
In case you wondered where the kill came from, you should
They're
go
not.
back and listen to the Donovan's Brain episode. You know, I was thinking too, the startled world, wasn't there startled, it was startled eyes in Donovan's Brain, wasn't it?
There were a lot of
Startled
startled eyes.
eyes
Yeah, there were a lot of
beheld the
eyes in
startled world.
that poster too.
Okay.
All new 1939's weirdest thrill picture.
Now, this is where Joseph would come in and say weird meant something different back then.
Yeah. After 20 years, driven by the same crazy ambition that made his father create the terrifying monster that stalks in the night. See this other juggernaut of destruction loosed upon the world. This was the year of juggernauts being loosed upon the world, apparently.
It is.
So many juggernauts.
Well, it's a little 20 years doesn't seem like it would be longer than that, doesn't it? Although
It does.
Igor's still alive, so it can't be too long. They gotta find the in between there. Okay, sorry.
That's okay. Look out! They're headed this way! New chills, shivers, and weird thrills. Again, weird probably meaning something totally different back then.
Yeah.
Weird
All right.
thrills. Like, shouldn't you be ashamed to be thrilled by something like this?
Yeah, and I could have translated the Italian and Spanish and German taglines on the posters, but I didn't.
Nah.
And I didn't do any AKAs because they're all Son of Frankenstein or Frankenstein's son in whatever language.
So they're all like Son of Frankenstein, aka Son of Frankenstein?
Yeah, only in the language. They're appropriately okay. Yeah, you're lucky. Let's go to first impressions. Chad!
I didn't pick this.
I know, I picked it. So I'll be up next. So I just wanted to do this because this is one of my favorite ones, and it became much more favorite after Young Frankenstein came out because some of the key scenes in Young Frankenstein come almost directly out of this. And when I was watching this time through, I kept thinking, is this supposed to be a comedy? Or I don't know. And I also didn't realize all the expressionism, all the expressionistic sets were just like, wow. So anyway, I like this one a lot. And I think basically this is kind of Bela Lugosi's movie even more than Basil Rathbone or Boris Karloff. And he's having a blast. So anyway, I'll just stop there and pass it on to y'all before we get into too many details. Daphne, how about you?
You guess what? I have never seen this movie. I thought that I had. Spit take from Chad. I thought I had, and I am ashamed to say that I have not. And I loved it. I absolutely love this movie. It's just was so much fun. And I love Young Frankenstein, and I have even more appreciation for Mel Brooks and Gene Wilder, what they did in that movie after watching this. Yeah, it was great. It was so much fun watching it. I was just really, really excited after watching it. I really liked it.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to check and make sure I got to go back and watch the other ones, because I don't know if I've seen some of the other ones either. I know that they're later and maybe people didn't watch them as much, but bad Daphne.
Well, the only other one, in 1942 was Ghost of Frankenstein. And then there was Wolfman versus Frankenstein.
Well, maybe I'm pretty sure that I know which of the Abbott and I know that what the Abbott and Costello ones I would have known was watching.
House of Frankenstein.
Yeah, House of Frankenstein.
It just makes me question now. Maybe there's other ones that I didn't, that I thought that I had seen that I hadn't.
Well, after I watched this, I watched Ghost of Frankenstein, and then I shouldn't have done that because I started to get them mixed up in my head. So I had to go back. And just one again, which I love, just like that. Whitney, how about you?
So I've seen pieces of this before, and my memory was vague, but it's really cool to watch this in full and to appreciate a lot of the same things that you have said, like going back and watching this and knowing what has been done with Young Frankenstein, with characters and humor. And just the cast it's just a great cast. And just seeing some of the classic look that's been inspirational to so many people, to see just the makeup, the sets, like you've said, Jeff, the expressionism and the design. I mean, it's just a top-notch, fun film to watch.
Yeah, I completely agree. Mr. Hunt, how about your first time you saw this? And
I told you I didn't pick this one. Oh, is it my turn?
Yes, it's now your turn.
Well, this is one I've watched since I was a kid. I mean, this is where Frankenstein was so dark and serious, and Bride had some comedy in it, but it was very dark comedy. This one, I always felt like the more popular Universal monsters they started to become favorites of kids, and I felt like this one played more to a kid's audience than an adult one. But at the same time, it was a pretty good successor to the other two films. And Boris Karloff returns as the monster, and Bela Lugosi, as Igor, was just fantastic. But it's always been a favorite of mine. But Lionel Atwill as the Burgermeister, Burgermeister when he was putting those darts in his arm,
yeah,
I was like, Dad, I want a wooden arm.
yes.
I want a wooden arm. I'll clobber everybody at school.
Inspector Krogh.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I wanted a wooden arm. That's all I cared about as a kid. And then to watch Kenneth Mars reprised that in Young Frankenstein was just amazingly hilarious. So yeah, this one is more fun to watch. It gives you all the monster mayhem and stuff like that, but it gives you these little touches of humor that are just kind of refreshing in a way, because it almost doesn't take itself seriously in some spots.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing I hated was the big sheep's wool vest that they gave the creature in this one. I was just like, what is that? Where's his suit? Where's his suit coat? Which I don't know why they decided to go that way with what he was wearing, but anyway,
It kept him warm during his coma. I don't know.
I guess so.
Those cold winters.
Yeah. Marvel Comics did a Frankenstein series back in the 70s, and they adopted this same look with the big furry outer vest and the big giant shoes and everything. And so yeah, this is just a fun one, and I'll watch it. I watch all the Frankensteins, all the Universals at least once a year, and this is right there in the roster with the rest of them, and I just enjoy it immensely.
Cool. Yeah, I totally agree with what everybody said. This is a really fun one. And this is a director I didn't know that much about. Roland Lee. He apparently started out as an actor. The two main ones that I know about that I saw were Tower of London, that had Basil Rathbone, and I think Karloff is in that, and Captain Kidd with Charles.
Look at little Charles Lawton there.
Yeah.
With his attitude mouth.
He is. He definitely has that attitude.
I didn't know that Leonard Nimoy was in Tower of London.
Oh, wow.
Well, they got Basil Rathbone looking in there.
Yeah, that's Basil Rathbone with
so
a page boy haircut or something. I don't know. You're so funny.
The hair.
It is. And Karloff is looming over him with his executioner's axe there. Anyway. So what, any comments about the direction or things that you might know about Roland Lee?
I thought the direction was great. I don't know if it was something more for the cinematographer than the director, but I liked all the angles, and I liked some of the zoom ins and the lower angles from down below. And I almost wondered, this almost felt more expressionistic than the other ones. Did you guys know? I feel that, or
yeah.
The sets and everything.
The design,
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it might reminded me of Gollum, or Golem. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit, but
or even like Cabin of Dr. Caligari. I mean, the buildings are just.
It's like, especially going into that makeshift lab and then pulling that round opening, that latch up, and it's just so different to see, and seeing how it's like to go down and around those curvy in the entrances and stuff. It's so, I don't know, it's just funky, but it was really cool to see how things were created and made in that atmosphere.
Yeah, I really liked that part of it.
Well, I started looking at the supporting cast for this film, and I was just almost aghast. These were people that were contracted to Universal at this time, but the set decorator art department is Russell Gaussman. He won 2 Oscars and was nominated for 4 more. The art director, Jack Otterson, was nominated for 8 Oscars. And before we got into this, he assisted on decorative designs on the Empire State Building. Ted Kent edited 9 films for James Whale. The music composer, we'll talk about that. I'm just going through these while I'm thinking of it. Frank Skinner was nominated for 5 Oscars, and he wrote a couple of books. One, F. Skinner's Simplified Method for Modern Arranging, and Underscore, the first book of its kind to detail techniques on orchestrating and composing for films. But,
Very cool.
And then George Robinson was the cinematographer. He spent almost his entire career at Universal, and finally Jack Pierce. So I know we already brought up wardrobe, we're bringing up production design, we're bringing up set decorating and all that stuff, but I wanted to get those names out there because I think that's, for me, that's what really makes this movie interesting.
Yes.
Yeah. And I also liked the music. And I think I feel like having seen Young Frankenstein, I was able to appreciate it more in this one, because I loved how Igor played that music, but that music was throughout the film. And I just love how that was incorporated, and it was just there. It wasn't, highlighted or anything. And I really liked that. I thought that was so cool that they chose to do that with the music.
I love that too, especially like closer to the I think it's close to the end. Like he has like this side eye going on when he's playing the instrument.
Yeah, it's like he's playing everybody. It's like he's just like doing, yeah.
He's somehow controlling the monster, right? So yeah, I thought the music was great too.
And I think I told you guys already, but I thought it was cool when I was looking up Roland Lee that he had a little ranch. I guess I shouldn't say little, but a farm, and that they filmed movies on it, including some scenes from Night of the Hunter.
Oh,
I think maybe it was the barn, because they didn't say specifically which ones, but they said, but they kind of commented on a barn that had been built on there, and that there was a lake. So I just wonder if those were on his farm. I thought that was cool that it was that connection.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, he what did I see about that? I think they said the lake sometimes in movies was used as a double river. It must have been like a long, narrow one, because they said they built a bridge across it and would. Anyway. So comments on the direction, Chad? I didn't notice when you dropped off. Anything in particular?
I liked the sets. I thought were beautiful, and he made use of it felt like big, giant, open areas for little tiny things to be going on in, like the laboratory. There was just these huge rooms, and I think stuff like that is very cool. Where that's sort of that expressionism where that comes in, and the shadows and everything. So I thought he really paid tribute more to the first Frankenstein in that way, where everything looks off kilter and that German expressionism that we talked about. I thought he did a good job of sort of replicating that, where Bride didn't as much. Bride to me was more of it had beautiful sets as well, but they were outside. A lot of those were outside, and the little cottages where the blind man lived and that kind of thing. I think Whale moved away from that expressionism a little bit with Bride, where I think he, and for Son of Frankenstein, kind of tried to get some of that back, that angular, shadowy type feel for it. So yeah, it's a beautiful film to look at too, in that way. As a matter of fact, each one of the first 3 Frankenstein films are just beautiful to look at. So I think he carried on that very, very well. And some of the higher angles that he was shooting from, it's sort of, I don't know, it was almost like he was trying to, he was looking into an anthill or something. At times, because a lot of the things going on were taking place down below from where the camera's looking. And I just thought that was a really nice touch and different and sort of different from what we'd seen earlier in the earlier films.
You're talking about the big space with the small stuff going in on it. I really saw that in when they were eating. There was like this big room with the stairs and everything, and then right in the center of it was this little dining table where they were eating and stuff. But the camera was far, was back.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah, I just thought that was phenomenal.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh, what a inviting, cozy.
Exactly. It's so cozy.
building.
How are you over there?
Yeah.
But it was cool. It looked very cool. But you see all the weird angles with the shot, the shadows, and the curved architecture, just odd. Just odd.
But even with the space that was used and that amount of space, it takes your attention. Like, I mean, I'm in awe seeing it, but also it doesn't take much away from just enjoying the chemistry between the characters so much. Yeah. I mean, you could see even that cheeky quirkiness that Igor had and how his dynamic was with the monster or even the Baron, just I felt like even with the utilization of that space, you still got to know the characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't distracting at all. Yeah. I have to admit, I was really surprised when when we see his library. It actually is kind of cozy. It is quite cozy.
Right.
In there. Yeah.
I don't know if I have a picture of that or not. Let me just introduce the cast. So this is a great shot. So on the left is Edgar Norton as Benson. And then we have Boris Karloff as the monster, Basil Rathbone as Baron Wolf von Frankenstein, and Bela Lugosi as Igor. I got a bone stuck in my throat.
Igor looking like, what am I going to have for lunch today?
Yeah. And then this is Mrs. Elsa von Frankenstein, or Baroness Josephine Hutchinson. And I mentioned this before, but I really think I almost feel like this is like Lugosi's movie.
I feel like it is.
I agree.
And
he is so good.
I thought I read something that Roland Lee that Lugosi kept talking to him about his part, and Roland Lee just kept adding to it because it was working well into the film.
It did.
I feel like exactly. I feel like he was just really acting. I feel like almost this is like some of the most I've seen him in a movie, even like Dracula and stuff.
He's got a fair amount of dialogue.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I put together a bunch of these, what I would think of as sort of expressionism or the decorating. So without, varying too much, I love that.
Yes.
I mean, where is the lighting coming from? I mean,
it's gorgeous.
The stairs, the shadows that's casting on the
that
wall
whole
there.
thing with the stairs, the angles of the stairs, the angles in the walls, just as everywhere, the shadows coming up through the stairs. I was entranced by that. And then also just my own, in terms of my background with safety. Like, really? There's nothing to keep that kid from falling off those stairs underneath that. There was no railings or what do you call them, balusters anyway. So there's another little dinner set up where let's see, the Baron had to run off. A little cozier.
A little bit.
Still very odd angles and shadows everywhere. And that's the one I put up before. I just thought this is where I first thought, is this a comedy? Because he goes out and makes this like one of the worst, such a non-apology apology.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm so sorry you're terrified by my father, who was obviously a really good man. And the umbrellas, they just disappear. But it was a cool scene. I'm like, all these people are out there in the rain to see this person they don't want to be there, I guess. I thought that shot was cool.
Yeah, this whole shot was very cool, and they almost had to do it again because the guy at the very bottom is staring directly into the camera.
Yeah. This is another
Awesome.
one.
This is so nice.
Love that.
Just so strange. I don't even know where that is. But he's walking down the hallway. That's probably one of the back passageways, right? With the monster and the little boy.
Yeah, I think it's like going towards the sulfur pit.
Oh, probably. Then this is the one I thought that kind of reminded me of, it's like a Dr. Seuss house or something.
Yeah.
It's just.
This is where I really thought Golem.
Yes.
Yeah.
When I saw that. Yeah.
And once again, the guy at the bottom is staring directly into the camera.
You gotta take your shot. So that's pretty much the ones I had that I thought of as being expressionistic or, with a lot of light and dark and shadows, although it's all the way through the movie. I mean, another one of those.
I love how the castle in the back looks like it's carved directly into the mountain, like out of the rock and everything.
Yeah. And then somebody mentioned the sulfur pit.
Yeah.
Get me out of here! It stinks.
The other one. This is another one that I don't know if you call this. I guess it's kind of expressionistic. This was a great shot.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah. That's an old school Universal set right there. With the backdrop and but you can't see the waves and the fabric in the backdrop like you can the other ones.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
But this is a perfect horror movie set.
Yes.
And lastly, just to bring this up because of Jack Pierce, I guess that's kind of a close up of the makeup.
I love that you could see his eyelids.
Yes.
A lot. I just really appreciated the work that went into it. Seeing those eyelids move. Yeah.
And knowing that there was a lot of work into it, I mean, unfortunately, I know that Jack Pierce took a lot more time than what was really wanted on these makeups. But I mean, given the kind of makeup that was used and the time and the detail, the pace was just hard for him. But man, I love it.
But he really refused to.
Yeah, he didn't want to change up a lot of the tools and the things that he used,
which hurt him. That hurt him a lot.
Yes.
That's an awesome picture, though.
Yeah,
I love it.
And seeing things now, like we saw pictures in magazines back then when we were growing up, and they would show these grainy black and white photos. Now you can see things in a little more HD and a little clearer than we used to be able to. And it's really fun to go in and look and see how intricate the makeups were and in more detail than you were used to as watching them or looking at them from a magazine.
Yeah.
And I just love that they had some pictures that Roland Lee put in some pictures of the monster just kind of lying there so innocently and peacefully almost.
Yeah.
Right.
Because there wasn't really, in doing some of the research, I had read that Karloff kind of worried about Frankenstein, I'm sorry, the monster just becoming a caricature. And you see that a little bit here because he's mostly just kind of killing folks for Igor. But there I feel like he has, like, from the other movies, a little bit of, I don't know, humanity, or there's something to him there still. Yeah, it's great.
I think this, I'm sure we talked about this before, but this took like somewhere in the neighborhood of 4 hours to put on this makeup.
Yes.
It was also, from the first movie, Karloff was so gaunt in those movies, and as each success movie succeeded, he gained a little more weight in each one. I guess now he's making money; he can afford food or something. But his face became a little more fuller, and
he didn't have near the hollow, cheeks. We talked about this a little bit, but just a couple more images here that are actually, we're talking about this being comedy, but yet, seems like, this kid is in peril. Like wasn't he climbing down and he was carrying him?
I feared for him when the monster picked him up.
Yeah.
Like when they started coming in, when Frankenstein broke into the lab and he just kind of picked the kid up. And here I felt like the monster really was like, oh, this kid's being nice to me. I just felt like I could feel that in Karloff there.
Yeah. And I think Karloff wanted that.
I think so too.
I think he wanted that that to happen.
I can see that. Well, then even in this shot,
Yeah.
where he's like,
Yes.
he's already ripped off Krog's arm.
And
oh my gosh,
there was some humor to that. I think,
he's gonna club him to death with this,
which was born the phrase, "I'll rip your arm out and beat you to death with it."
That's right.
I know, it was like that was really, that was very funny.
And then at some point he also is standing on the kid. He's holding the kid down with his foot.
With his foot.
Put me down.
So I just love the spot where Atwell, it just cracks me up, where he does the first time I saw this after I saw Frankenstein, because I didn't remember it being that way, because the first time you see it, you're just thinking, oh God, his arm, that's kind of an old style artificial arm, But then when he does the, he moves it makes the ratcheting noise, moves his arm up, and then he takes his monocle out and sticks it in his hand, and then breathes on it, then pulls his handkerchief out of his sleeve and wipes it off. I was dying. Dying. And then when he finally plays darts with the Baron, and he takes the darts and sticks them in his arm. I'm just like, oh.
And the look on the Baron's face when he was doing, he's like,
He had a lot of weird takes, didn't he?
Yeah.
And I think I read that they thought about doing this in color, but they it screwed up the makeup too much.
I think I read that too.
I
read something too where the Frankenstein creature was painted green just because so it would give the right shade for black and white or whatever. But a lot of those photographs got out, and so you started seeing a lot of Frankenstein merchandise where he was painted green, and like the model, the old Aurora model kits, and pictures like that. And Frankenstein all of a sudden became green, and they say it's because of this movie and those pictures that got out, after the fact. So I always thought that was interesting. Don't know how true that is, but.
Yeah. Well, I love the kid. The kid is like the perfect comic relief, and he was decent at it too. I mean, there was a place there where there was 2 or 3 times where he like walks in and goes, "Well, hello."
I especially like with some of the things he said, especially to the inspector when he was asking about his arm.
Yeah.
It's little things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what does he say? It's not.
I can't
I lost
remember.
my arm, and he either says, "Whose arm is it?" or
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, that's what the boy said. Yeah.
"Well, whose arm is it?" You know,
Yeah.
like, who should we ask?
Yes.
It was great. It was great. I also liked that twice at the beginning. First Baron, and then I think Krog tell the story about how, you know, my family name is ruined so much that they actually sometimes call the monster Frankenstein. Like pointing out to the audience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's the monster. I'm Frankenstein. All right.
Yeah, I felt like there was a couple of times when they definitely made that a nod, like he's alive. You know, like when he did that when he.
Oh, he did. He did.
He's
That's-
alive.
Yeah. It's alive. Yeah. Well, it's like to the original movie.
I thought, yeah, I just, like I said, I love Young Frankenstein so much. It's definitely like in my top 10. Watch it every year on Halloween as a tradition. And I didn't think I could appreciate it more, but seeing this now and what they did and how I had heard them talk about how much they really loved these movies, and you can really, really see it. I mean, they have fun with it, but it's in love. And just the things that they pulled out to have fun with are just it's just great. And the fact that they didn't really have to push it that much, like with the darts and the, you know, all the crazy stuff. They don't have to go that far with it because he already went that far. And the knockers, you know, of course.
All the knockers. Yeah. The knockers.
Look at those knockers.
And when I first saw that door, and I don't think I noticed that the first time I saw the movie. You know, when you look down, you go, "Oh my god!"
I know.
Well, and then when Krog runs up to the door in the rain, he's got this slicker with what do they call that? What does Sherlock call it? Deerstalker type design, right? And he does this very dramatically as he's going up the door, throws the cape back over his left shoulder.
Yeah.
Falls over and he does it again, and then he goes inside the door and he does it again. I'm like, they really like that gesture, and it just kept falling over. I don't know. I little things to remember it by. What's his name? Igor tells the Baron that the monster is his brother.
Yeah.
He has the
same father.
Has the same father, only his mother was lightning.
Yeah.
Picturing Burgess Meredith. Yeah. Rocky. Lightning.
And I really thought Basil Rathbone did such a fun job. I thought he was great in this. So arrogant, but so oblivious to everything. That speech with the umbrellas, just as well as how he just got so upset, and it was a lot of fun.
Well, when Igor's they bring him into town to like question him, and he's in front of this council, I guess, I don't know. And then when he gets done, he goes over and coughs on that guy. And then says, I must have had a bone stuck in my throat. And I don't know if that's when he does it or not, but there's that one time where he actually knocks on this bone, you know. It's like, you know, you can hear it. Because he survived. They tried to kill him and he survived, and now they can't hang him again. Well, wait a minute. What if he does something else? Can we hang him then? The people were like, they just wanted to nail him. So the other thing, the monster, I hadn't noticed this before, but the monster was smart enough to, like, he kills the guy, you know, jerks him off the wagon, right? I think it's, is it Neumiller? But then he puts the body under the wagon and runs over it. It seemed like a little more subterfuge than what you would have thought the monster cared about. There's just so many of these cute little scenes. When Krog, did you see when he takes the box of matches out and sticks them over his finger? Did you catch that? Oh, I think he's lighting a cigarette. And it's like the style of boxes, that are the inside slides in and out, through it.
Yeah.
Overall, he sticks it over his finger, which pushes the tray out, and then takes a match out of it, and it's still stuck on his finger.
Oh my
I
God.
did not see that.
Lights it across, and then takes it out, taps it, puts it back in his pocket. I'm just like, I would. That's what I mean. That could that really have been in the script? I mean, that had to be something somebody went, here, I thought of this cool little thing to do here.
Well, there's a lot of funny stuff like that. So it's hard, and it's hard. You can't really call this a comedy.
No.
No. It's a horror movie with funny things happening.
Yeah.
But they're legitimately funny things. The whole wooden arm stuff is just,
Yeah. And even towards the end, like when the monster was basically kicked off into that pit, like it's like, I shouldn't laugh at this, but the way it happened was kind of comical.
Like the swashbuckling kick into the sulfur pit.
Yeah.
Well, there's also the Krog, the one time where Krog is leaving, and he does the old, half bow and clicked his heels to Frankenstein.
Yes.
And I forget what Frankenstein. I think Frankenstein just does a little bow, and Krog stays bent over, like looking at him.
Yeah.
Until he clicks his heel. Like, what? Oh my God! What is going on here? I just thought that was it's so cool, but yet so strange, Because that was part of the thing. So anyway, I love all those little touches.
Have you guys watched the Boris Karloff documentary that I think it's streaming now. I don't know if it's on what it's on. I've been wanting to watch it, but I wasn't.
It was, and that's why they had like their Boris Karloff collection, which is what was going on when I first picked this movie, but they dropped it.
Oh, okay.
So maybe it'll come back around. I don't know where it's available now. It's a very good. We did it on Gruesome magazine, actually.
Oh, cool.
We did a review of it.
I never got a chance to see it.
Really?
Yeah, I wanted to, but there's always something else that came up.
Well, there's those, kind of details too, where from our point of view, we sort of feel like, he was an overnight sensation in 1931, right? Boris Karloff. But he was actually I think he was over 40.
Yeah, he was 40 something.
Yeah.
31 and 13. Yeah, he was 44 and had made like 80 movies by then already. All the silence and things like that. So goes on to end up with over 200 credits. But both of him, I just love Karloff and Lugosi. I think Lugosi is a far better actor than he gets credit for. It's sort of like people went, he's got an accent, we're not using him.
Absolutely. He's so good in this movie.
He was before his time. I feel like if he was alive now, he would be, or in the last 20, in the last 20 years, maybe, that he would have been way offered a lot more diverse roles, and
Right.
he would be better revered than he was, I think, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. So much for a character actor and underrated in some ways because of what Chad is saying.
So, little piece of trivia here on this was, I think I mentioned this, but according to IMDb, Lee was able to keep Bela Lugosi working throughout the film, and built up the role of Igor, which never even appeared in the original Cooper screenplay. So he was very grateful to Lee for allowing him to create what turned out to be one of his best roles. And also his daughter was born while this movie was being shot on November 23rd, Sarah Karloff.
Yeah, the same
Anyway.
birthday, I think.
Ah,
This cast was stellar.
Cool.
I mean, this had some good.
yeah.
Donnie Dunnigan went on to. I don't know if you guys knew this, but he went on to voice Bambi, Disney's.
Really? I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah,
Someone
Wow.
mentioned that to me, and I forgot.
yeah. So you had I mean, Basil Rathbone, Boris
Mhm.
Karloff, Bela Lugosi, Lionel Atwill. That was a pretty good cast
Great
for
cast.
back then.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, he did a great job because according to this, he was only 5 years old when that movie was shot.
Yeah.
Mm.
He was really
So,
good.
I think I saw an interview with him, and he said the only thing he really remembered was they kept telling him to talk louder, and so that's why it always seems like, well, hello. Sure.
That's great.
I think
Oh,
is he still alive?
Yeah, I think
yeah.
he is.
Yeah. Okay.
I like the actress that played Elsa too. I thought she was really. I thought that she had a little bit of depth to her there instead of just his wife.
Yeah.
Well, it is interesting because we start off seeing him on the train going to this place for this big new adventure,
Mhm.
and then as soon as they get in the castle, she's like, "This is creepy."
Right?
yeah, she was not.
and
Mhm.
but she's also noticing that her husband is really he's feeling it, right? He feels like
Mhm.
he's at home. So,
Mhm.
um,
Do you guys
I don't
think
know.
that her character is called Elsa after Elsa Lancaster?
I thought about it.
I
Yeah.
did too. I
I
don't
did
know.
too. I did too.
Okay. So it's like-
Wasn't just you.
That would be cool if she was.
Yeah.
Her last part in IMDb anyway was in an episode of Little House on the Prairie,
Oh wow.
1974.
Wow, cool.
Hmm.
A lot of TV. A lot of TV.
Lee went on to say that he let Bela Lugosi work on that character and work on that characterization, and it's not anything that they ever expected him to come up with.
Hmm.
And
I can see
he
that.
always felt like Lugosi stole the show. He said Karloff's monster was weak by comparison,
Mhm.
which I have to agree with that. As much as I
Mhm.
love Boris Karloff,
Right.
I have to agree with that.
Yeah. No, it's Igor. It is
Mhm.
Igor. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, this is his movie. He steals it, really.
Yeah. And it's kind of, I don't know, it just makes me a little sad what we maybe lost from not having Bella do other things or
Mhm.
Yeah.
him, having problems as he got older.
Yeah. Josephine Hutchison commented that I think she had a 2-picture deal with Universal, and she said doing a Frankenstein movie is like kind of a phony bit. You don't have to delve too deeply. So I think that kind of sums up maybe what she thought about doing that movie. But
Yeah,
I thought
so
she did well in it.
there's a lot of information out there about Lugosi and how he was kind of hard up and wasn't getting paid very much, and
Mhm.
Lee felt like he was being taken advantage of. Anyway,
mhm.
do we have any?
Something that struck me was how abrupt the ending was.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, I thought, well, this is probably what the villagers want. They're like, just go. Just
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go away. We don't
Mhm.
go.
Well, that's another one of those plot things, though, because at first he's going to the Baron is sending his wife, sending Elsa and Peter away
Mhm.
Mhm.
because he knows it's getting dangerous.
Mhm.
Krog shows up and says, "No, you can't. It's too dangerous."
Mhm.
And then
Mhm.
after the villagers attack, he's like, "I'll escort you to the train station and help you get away." I'm like, wait a minute. Anyway,
And then there was. Oh, go ahead, Jeff.
no, you go.
I was just reading too something about the original script for this that Cooper had more ties to Bride of Frankenstein, including finding the skeleton of Dr. Pretorius in there.
Oh yes,
Oh,
I did
wow.
see that. Yeah.
Wow,
And,
that's cool.
And sort of had the monster coming to Wolf, sort of recreating Bride again, saying, "Make me a friend," and threatening to kill Elsie and if Wolf disobeyed. So it sort of had some ties for that, but they ended up changing a lot of that. But
Wow.
Interesting.
Well, there's a couple of these guys that are in a bunch of movies. So the guy Newmeyer, who was the person driving the wagon that the monster killed, he, I think, played the father in Frankenstein. You know,
He looked familiar. He looked familiar to me, but I wasn't sure if he just had like a familiar looking face. But
yeah, so his name is he's got two first names, Michael Mark. And then the other one is Herr Lang, who's the one that had the kind of bushy white hair that is killed in silhouette. I was trying to find a good picture of that, but I didn't come up with it, because that's another cool. In the shadows, you see the monster whack him. His name is Lionel Belmore, and he's just in he must have been in like every Universal picture made in the 30s. It just is an incredible list. But Frankenstein, the Vampire Bat. I don't know if he was in, but he's one of those guys that he just looks like he was made to pay a villager or a burgermeister or something, you know.
Yeah.
So these guys kept, not only did the staff, you know, the cinematographer, the composer, the set decorator, art, production designer, all that stuff seemed to just Jack Pierce seemed to be in all of these movies and be really good at their job. You've got these extras too that show up all the time. I mean, Dwight Fry is in a bunch of them too. So I think that's, I don't know. I like seeing those guys. And I always wonder about them. Were they able to make enough to earn a living doing that stuff? Or were they also doing theater? Did they have other jobs? And I don't know the answer to that, but usually don't give those details.
I liked the thing you put in the notes about the noise that the monster made when he got kicked into the pit and how it was used in other films from Universal. That's so cool.
Wasn't the Wilhelm scream, was it?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't know. It just said that Universal put it in other non-horror films.
That's funny.
Because the Wilhelm scream was from a Western, right?
Originally, yeah, but it's been used in every or scream. But I don't come to think of it, I don't think it was the Wilhelm scream.
Well, but it says non-horror films, so it might be in other stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, besides the scene with the child, which are scary, there's also the one where the Baron kills Igor, and then the monster, when he finds him, he's destroyed. You know, he's just.
Well, that's why he takes the son as like a revenge. You know.
Yeah, but the son thinks of him.
Right, as a giant.
Yeah.
The
giant brought it to me. So, okay. Any last thoughts on this? I feel like we could talk a lot longer on this, but it's just.
It's a great film. It's one of the last great Frankenstein films, I think. There are other ones after this, and they're cool to watch. It's cool to watch Glenn Strange and those guys played the Frankenstein monster every now and then. But this was Karloff's last time doing it, besides a few appearances here and there. And I don't know. I look at the whole series as a trilogy. You know. And those are my favorite. I love those. Watching them all together.
I'm definitely going to add it to my annual list, watching
Mhm.
all three of them. Now that I've seen this, it's, yeah.
Well, I think for me, the first one, Frankenstein, is more tragic, I think, somehow. And Bride of Frankenstein has that comedy in it, but also that touch of the fantastic with the little
The
miniature
homunculus
creatures, that Pretorius comes up with.
Mhm.
And there's what is her name? Uma, the woman who screeches.
Oh yeah.
She sees him. Anyway, and this one is good too. I mean, the Baron. I think the idea is that he's supposed to be. He's so hyper focused on this whole thing that everything else is like a distraction. So he's not really paying attention. So he has so many weird lines. You know, there's that time when they're having dinner and his wife tells Inspector Krogh that you're the first person we've had over. And, oh, yes, you're the first person we've had over. Oh, you just said that, didn't you? There's a lot of lines like that where he's just sort of just odd and making stuff up that everybody knows he's making it up. And then I got to go now. Out of the room. You know, so
you're not fooling anybody.
Yeah, if there's any questions. So anyway, I love it. That's a big fun picture, but with some horror, with some decent horror. And when you think about it, like, you know, Eeyore was hung, but not dead.
Yes.
Not dead.
Well, it's a great monster movie for sure.
Big thing on the side of his neck, his bone sticking out, and then he uses that as some little bit of comic energy. I don't know. I'm just talking because I just.
Well, I also liked how he totally played with the people in the council. Like he was like, "I'm not scared. You guys killed me.
Right.
Yeah.
You guys tried to kill me and I didn't die. You can't really do anything." And they're just throwing stuff at him left or right, and he's just laughing at him. Just laughing
Double
at
jeopardy.
them. It's like this. Yeah.
All
He's
right.
such a good
Well,
character.
I guess watch this, guys. If you haven't seen it for a while, watch it again. It's really kind of brilliant in its own way.
Don't be like me. Don't wait till you're 50 and see it, even if it's not on purpose.
You can watch it.
You're missing out. Yeah.
Well, come
You're
on,
missing out.
It's cool to come to these things, even whenever you come to them, I think.
Well, I gotta say, it's like I actually appreciated that this was the first time that I saw it, because I was like, I get to see this for the first time. You know what I mean? Like when I started watching it, it's like, oh my God, this is so cool. How often does this happen? You know, so I just got into it. So I guess I shouldn't say that. But
and every time I watch these Universal movies, I always go, I wish this was my first time watching it.
Right.
You know, so
there's
that's
a sort
cool.
of magic to them. You know?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's so, I mean, that's what I love about monster movies, is that sometimes you can't always put your finger on what it is about them, but there's something about the fantasy-ness of it, or how it still kind of signals these things about humanity to you that you can kind of get on a different level. And they're just wild. Yeah. So even if you're over 50 or 50, watch it.
Well,
even if you're five, go get them.
Yeah, I know.
Let your kids watch them, because they're amazing.
We've talked about this before, but the cool thing for me about the podcast is I look at these in entirely different ways. And if I just flipped it on TV, I may or may not pay full attention to it. And when we do this, I read up a little bit, do a little preparing, understand what I'm looking at, know what to look for, and start really getting in and seeing that stuff. And this, the silent films we've done, that's totally opened my eyes up to German expressionism. It wasn't something that and how it kind of flows forward, and actually maybe to, all that light and dark kind of morphs into what becomes film noir later on.
Well, and even how after watching some of the Mexican horror movies and
Yeah,
seeing
the
how
monks.
it becomes incorporated in a movie that was specifically made by Mexican people for a
Yeah.
Mexican movie for, you know, and it's like, but that's incorporated too into it. And you know, that's so cool seeing all those things. Yeah. That
Well,
you
it
have
goes
no
so
idea
well.
about.
It goes so well with scary movies. That
Mhm.
It does.
expressionism.
Yeah.
It's unsettling.
It's great.
Something's not right. How come the room's not square? How come the shadows? All right. That's it for this episode. And every 2 weeks, we'll be focusing on a specific film released between 1920 and 1969. Next up, this one chosen by Daphne. What are we watching?
We're going to watch Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, 1931.
Oh, one of my favorites.
Yeah. I haven't seen that one
I
either.
do that.
You haven't seen this?
No, I haven't seen that one
Oh,
either.
you're in for a treat because this
Starring
is
Frederick March. Yeah.
yeah.
The stuff I was reading about it was like, we got to watch this. Please let this
Yeah.
be streaming.
Yeah.
'Cause I
Dan's
don't-
always said his favorite.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
my
that's really
it's my favorite Jekyll and Hyde movie.
That's saying much. You know, you got a battle against John Barrymore and Spencer
Mhm.
Tracy, and
And you guys reviewed one, like the strange incident of you guys did one of
Yeah,
them already, right?
Jack
Mhm.
Palance. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it'd be cool.
This one's way better. I like the Jack Palance one, but this
Mhm.
one is just subversive and creepy and gnarly. I just love it.
I'm digging it. Have you seen the John Barrymore one? The earlier
silent
one, the
film.
20s, the silent.
The
film?
silent one, yes.
Oh, okay,
Yes.
cool. All right.
All
It was hard to
righty.
pick.
Stay tuned for that one. Plenty of ways to stay in touch with us. Please send feedback to feedback@gruesomemagazine.com, or even better yet, leave comments on the Gruesome Magazine YouTube channel, Facebook groups, website, anywhere.
Mm.
You know, Doc always gets them to us. But we love comments, and please subscribe. You know, if you enjoy these, we're not typical of a lot of stuff on YouTube. We're not like, 5 to 10 minutes long and completely scripted with rapid fire stuff. We talk about the movies we love, and we try to give details we find interesting, and show some visuals along the way to back it up. So, people that might like us, share it with them.
Do it.
An occasional
Please.
poo joke or fart story.
Yeah, you'll hear poo jokes and fart jokes here. For sure. Scatological humor about decades of horror, the scatological era. That's what I'm pushing for the next podcast.
That's all eras.
Yeah.
All right. Catch us again here in 2 weeks for another great horror movie of the classic era, as only decades of horror can do it. Say goodnight, everybody.
Good
night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Oh.
Gruesome Magazine.